This is Brett Battles, and you're watching the Break It Down show.
Thanks for coming on the show, man. I appreciate it. We were talking offline. I had Andrews and Wilson on the show yesterday. They write similar genre books. And you guys you have this wonderful opportunity to write for a different franchise. In this case, Stuart Brooks. Let me hold this book up for everybody so you can all see. Stuart Woods, latest. I knew a Stuart Brooks growing up. Stuart Woods' latest, written by Brett Battles, The Blown Away, featuring Teddy Fay. And
Stone Barrington.
Yeah, sorry. There's a lot of names with these books, man.
I know it, right?
Yeah. So what we were talking yesterday with Brian and Jeff was, they just wrapped up their last novel in the Clancy series, and by design, they kind of did a tight arc that was a multi-book arc. And they're like, now we've got the franchise where we're happy, and we have so many things going on that, to include Hollywood stuff, and they have got their own imprint started, and they're also going to be publishing shorter works in it. Like, oh my gosh, and they're already so prolific. How do you all manage these career opportunities that are incredible, but also at the expense potentially of your own series and your audience that you've built yourself?
Right. Well, not well. No, I mean, you do the best you can. For me, because I'm now on a 3-book-a-year thing for the Stuart Woods stuff, which, I mean, thankfully his works are shorter. We're not talking Tom Clancy length books by any means. Right. But still, 3 books a year pretty much takes up my whole time. Means I'm pretty much writing every single day on one of the Stuart Woods books. It does put me very behind on my own books. I have several that are in various stages. This is maybe a conversation I've had with you. I know I've had it with other people before that I have like 5 books that are in various stages, from a few chapters to almost 100,000 words, that all need work and need to be worked on. And I steal hours here and there to work on them. But they've been that way for now about 2.5, almost 3 years. Wow. That I've been slowly making progress, at least on a couple of them. But it's, they all 5 of them would have been out if it wasn't for doing the Stuart Woods stuff, which I am not complaining. I am very happy to be doing the Stuart Woods. I just wish that I had more stamina and days were longer and there were more days in a year when it comes to this. Yeah. But otherwise, I'm happy to do this, the Stuart Woods stuff. It's a lot of fun. I don't want to lose sight of my own work, which is why I do try to steal a little time here and there to work on them, to keep my hands in them. But when I'm hoping that I'm trying to get a rhythm where I can actually spend more time doing them. It's a juggle is really what it is.
Again, talking to Brian and Jeff, they're working individually 80 hours a week ish, right? Because you guys get to live your dream. And so it's not really work, but it is
it's work. It's it's great. It's fun. It's work though. And it's hard for me to put in a ton of hours every day on writing. I used to be able, I'm 20 years ago, I could put a lot more time a day into writing. Now I don't have as much. I've started doing these little writers retreats. I've actually only done, kind of 2, but really 1, where I go away for a week to a hotel and then I spend 8 to 10 hours a day writing, and then stay there for about anywhere from 5 to 7 days. I'm actually off to another one on Friday, just because I can get a lot more done by doing that. I don't have the distraction of home. I don't take my car. I take the Amtrak to some place so that I am forced to not go anywhere I can't walk. And then I try to just put in mega time, because when I'm at home, it's very hard for me. I mean, I go to coffee shops to write, and I'll spend 3 or 4 hours at a coffee shop, but that'll be, I mean, I'm burned out by the end of that. When I go to the hotel, I've set my mindset to this is this, and I have no other distractions. I have nothing else I need to deal with. And so for those 4 or 5 days, boom, 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 it's all day from early until late afternoon, early evening. So I'm hoping that will also give me more time to do my other stuff. We'll see. This is a new thing, but it's semi-working so far.
But you're working on trying to figure out the working process, like and super smart with the, like, this is what the design is here. Let's not put other things in here to crowd it. So yes, I would love to go to a cafe, drink coffee, and smoke cigarettes all day and write in a notebook. However, I actually have to do this work. And so are you saying that you rent, like, a suite or something, and you sit there and then you're head down at your desk in the hotel? Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, even first at the coffee shop. In fact, I was at one this morning before I came here. I've got my headphones on. I'm listening to music. I'm just working on my computer for a few hours. I like the distraction of the people, but admittedly, I probably don't get as much done if I didn't have the distraction of the people there. The hotel, yes, it doesn't have to be a suite. It can just be a hotel room that has a decent desk. It's not too crowded, because if it's too crowded in a space, that will mess with my head. But I just sit in there and work, because I'm not at home. I don't have yes, it has a TV, but I've made the habit of never turning a TV on in a hotel room lately. I just kind of stopped doing that. And so I don't see that as a distraction. I don't have any of my books. I do. I listen to books, but it's not during when I'm writing. I don't have the TV. I don't have my PlayStation. I don't have the people who need me to do something or any of this stuff. I'm here specifically for this. And then when I've done my work for the day, lately I've been going to San Diego. I have some friends who live down there. So in the evenings, I'm having dinner with friends or watching something on my laptop. At that point, that's when I allow myself. But I've structured it. I have to structure it in my mind and follow through. And then once I set that, then that's the way I can do it. It's
No, and I assume that you didn't probably get a suite, but even then, like I said that because I wanted to make it like a touch fancier, like what you would imagine, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, it depends. That the last time was not suites, but there was a decent sized room, not huge, but decent size.
Big enough though, because you're in the woodshed. You're not trying to have a couch and all these other things.
I don't need any of that stuff. I just need a desk and quiet, and I need to concentrate.
Right. Can you write on the train when you're on it?
I have. Short answer is probably yes. I can definitely do rewriting on a train. I did that on the way back last time, and it's from here, it's about a 4.5 hour train ride because of all the stops and everything. But because I did I say San Diego before? I've been
you did. You said San Diego,
So it's about it's enough time to do some of that. Also, I can watch a show or something when I'm on the train. But I used to not be able to do any writing during traveling, and that changed earlier this year when I went to BoucherCon in New Orleans. I was on deadline and I was really backed up, and I spent that whole travel day I flew out of Burbank and to New Orleans, and I was writing at the airport. I was writing on the planes. I was writing at my layover, and then writing in my room when I got there. And it proved it was like a proof of concept to myself that I could actually write on planes when I'd been telling myself forever that I can't do it. I think obviously it depends on the ride, and like if it's really bumpy, you're not going to get much done. But
Right.
Mostly yes, and the trains are great. The Amtrak is great. I pay a little extra and get one of those business class seats because you get a reserve seat and they're just slightly bigger, and it's really not that much more expensive than the
Right.
regular ticket.
Yeah.
And you have a nice big table tray to set your laptop on, so it's not a bad situation at all, and they have power
Yeah.
and everything.
I love sitting in the club car as well, and
Mm.
just kind of just being in there and getting that, especially out of it. Sometimes you just can't find the spot, and I'm not some fancy writer or anything, but I
No,
do
I
write
get it.
things,
I
you
hear
know,
you.
and
I
I end up.
Yeah. I
I
was going
was
to
just
say I
gonna
daydreamed of just of doing like that, but also like doing a one of those 7 days around the country Amtrak,
Mhm.
just stay on it the
Yeah,
whole time. That would be fun. I think.
yeah.
I'm not sure, but I think.
The thought is fun, and this gets us back towards now. I'm sitting at I've got a beret, I've got a mustache, and I'm in France, and I'm not writing because I'm on this other adventure, right? And so it's like,
Exactly
no, like
right.
I just need to go to Council Bluffs, Iowa, on a train, get off, and go to the Ramada Inn or whatever, and just get to fucking work, and
Right.
that's
Right.
yeah, yeah. I think about that all the time. Like we're lucky here in California. We've got all these ways you can go on trains and stuff. So the Starlight Express goes all the way to New Orleans, and you can just get on and go to Benson and spend the day riding in Benson, and then hop back on the train when it comes back through a couple hours later. In theory, you could do that, but that's a whole lot of stuff besides writing that you put into the
Right.
mission. And so it
Right.
sounds neat. And then you want to write about what you're doing because you're a writer.
Right. Right. I had a friend who wanted to do that. He wanted to do the train like a 2-week tour and
Hmm.
write a mystery about being on a train while he was on the train. And it's like, that's a brilliant idea. That would be a good. I mean, somebody
Yeah,
may have already done that. I don't know.
sure, probably. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But you
Seems
could do it
obvious.
again.
It seems obvious.
Yeah, yeah. So, but I appreciate you talking about that. You said something else too. When you're at that desk, it's got to be the right setup at the desk. How big of a space do you need? What is crowded? Because those sometimes those desks are plenty big, but sometimes you're right. Like it's just really a table with a whole bunch of stuff on it.
It's yeah, which makes it hard for me to write at home because my desk always got, gets cluttered. So I
Yeah,
very seldom actually write here. We're at this desk right here. This is more for business. And I
right.
take my laptop out for wherever. Um, it's interesting. Space is I'm very sensitive to space of where I'm writing
Mm-hmm.
to a certain extent. It's all in my head. I know this. I don't at the coffee shop. I'm at a table. There might be one or two other people sitting at the same table I'm at, and I can work, and that's not a problem.
Right.
Um, I think if it's a super cramped hotel room where the bed barely fits in the room and they stuck a desk at one end, I might be able to make that work, but it would probably drive me crazy. Um, I have a weird example of how my head works. I went on my last trip to San Diego. I was in this room, and it was a decent sized room, great with the desk. It was all working out, but then there became a problem with the room after I'd been there like about 2 days, and so they were going to move me to a different room, and the room they were going to move me to had a better view, but it was narrower, a little bit narrower. And I all of a sudden just felt claustrophobic in that room. And it just did
Mm,
not feel creative to me. Now, if I'd gotten that room right off the bat, I probably would have been completely fine with it because it's all
right.
expectations in your head. But I made them give me something bigger because it just could. I didn't want to. I would focus on that. I got a little bit of a neurospicy brain, so I would
Yeah.
focus on that, and it would derail me, and I can't be derailed. So
These are great points. I mean, this is what all of us struggle with is we have the thing, and you get to do something that people dream about, they
mm,
write stories about, but there's still all of these little ankle biting moments, like the laundry, and then all of a sudden you're like, I'm back on my goddamn phone, like, so how do we, and
TikTok is
some
a
of you,
killer for me. So
oh my gosh, there's so many spots, to
yeah,
figure this out. And it's interesting to hear you like still trying to sort out like what it is, because you got the folks that are like 16 hours iron ass in a chair, and that's what they do. You got the other people that are like 2 hours, then I need to go for a walk and empty my brain. And I'm not mocking them. Like that is a
no,
legitimate process. But like they're like more whimsical and like, oh, and it sounds like you, like me, like you're fighting, like, here's what I want to do, but why don't I do this other thing?
all right.
And it's like, does that work? I don't know. It did this time, but you're right. Like if I
I
allow anything
I
in my
changed
head.
my pattern.
Yeah.
I realized that it's like every 3 to 5 years, my pattern changes. When I first went full time, I was working at home, and I would get up at like 3 or 4 in the morning, and I'd start
Yeah.
writing, and I'd be done by noon, but I would have written 5,000 plus words that day. And that was great. And I did that for like a couple of years, and that was great. And then that worked until it didn't. And then all of a sudden my words were going down, and I just wasn't feeling right. And then that's when I started going like outside to other things. And
Yeah.
I'm always switching things up. So
Yeah. But I mean, we're describing a very human condition, and I think it's interesting just to say like, hey, I have all these things that you all have, but I happen to be able to get over the hump for whatever reason, and not only write your own stuff and build your own audience, but also get access to Stuart Woods' audience. Like that's incredible.
Absolutely.
How do you have any idea how long you'll continue to write? And you don't have to answer this,
No.
but how long you'll stick with the Stuart Woods brand? Like, do you have a goal or?
I haven't yet
Okay.
made any. I mean, for the moment, as long as they want me,
right,
I'll be there. A few more years at least, I hope.
Yeah.
We'll see. It's they're fun books to write.
Yes.
It's a great gig. I'm very honored to have been chosen to keep them going. It was amazing. I feel like it kind of fell into my lap. Luckily, I was in the right place at the right time. So I'm very, very thankful and appreciative to Putnam and to the Woods estate for allowing me to do this for them. And so, yeah, I mean, I can see a few more years, whether that's 3 or 4 or 5 or 7. I'm not sure about that, but at some point I do need to get back to my own stuff, probably. But I mean, if I can find a balance where I can do both, then I don't see a reason to, at this point, to stop one to do the other. If I can keep them both going, that would be great. That would be the ultimate idea. But,
yeah. Let's take you out of this and look at like Andrews and Wilson, who are like, hey, we're going to stop. We were talking yesterday, like if someone had come to them during their military careers and said, guess what, you will be writing the things you're reading right now, these Tom Clancy books, you'll be writing those. And then later on, I came back in and went, and now 6 months later, that same person comes and goes, and then you're going to have to tell the people at Clancy, hey, thanks for the good time. We got to go, right? Like there's these wild things that you can't even imagine when you're trying to get to 1,000 words, reliably good content, writing, and then doing it again and doing it again. You're the mountain is so unclimbable. And then when you get up there, you realize there's all kinds of paths up here that I can go this way, that way. I can focus on my audience. I can maybe do this forever. Maybe when the Stuart Woods things drops, I'm always saying this, I'm hoping I can speak this into existence. The Stephen J. Cannell people come and they're like, would you please write LA detective stories for us? Because I don't know why that brand isn't like pumping out books every 3 months too, because I would read them. I love those books. But it's an amazing plateau that you can get to where you can just have a very great dream life where you're writing books, writing on trains, going to coffee shop, all those things for real and do it. But like you would never think, oh, I'm gonna, and this is not you, I'm just saying as an example, you're telling the Stuart Woods people, hey, that was great, thank you, I'm gonna move on, and think, oh my God, I'm so desperate for work when you're young, and then you can end up in this spot. I'm so excited for all you guys, but this era where it's so prolific and it seems like the market can't seem to find the limit of what we want to read, because I want to read all of it.
Yeah. And just to make it clear, in case any of Stuart's people are listening, I am not in.
Yeah. This is just Pete saying things. Yeah. Let's be clear. I was using that as an example.
Right.
If you
I hear you.
You guys are happy. Those guys are happy. We're not saying anything else about that.
100%.
But it is crazy that these outcomes happen, like as these brands continue to go. What is it about Ludlam and Woods and all these different folks? What is it about their work that their brand remains so robust? Now, Stuart just passed away sort of recently, a couple of years ago, but Tom Clancy's been dead for a long time now. Louis L'Amour has been dead forever. These guys' books, I don't know if Louis L'Amour books still sell, but what is it about their brands that's so resilient?
Well, I think, they, first of all, they, at least in Stuart's case, he creates these very memorable characters that people come to love the characters in this. In the Ludlam books, I mean, the characters are great, but the situations also are really interesting. And he has these very layered mystery thriller kind of things. And in Stuart's books, they're very fun and interesting and quick and a lot of snappy humor and all that stuff. So it's a familiarity of that brings people back. It's a love of those characters. It's a comfort with those stories. Kind of knowing what you're getting going in, but still not knowing what you're going to get when you go in. All of those things, I think, play into it.
Do you have to go back into the catalog and read some of these books to maybe do a little tie back? Yeah,
100%. I've reread the entire Stone Barrington series twice now in the last couple of years, and I do it all on audio. I intend to do all of my reading on audio these days because I do so much reading just working.
Right.
I don't want to sit down for another so many hours of reading, so I'll do it while I'm driving or whatever, walking. But I've gone through the whole catalog twice in the past couple of years. I've gone through several different books that I think are going to be important about a certain book. I've gone through that, many of those several of times beyond just the two big playbacks. So yes, I'm constantly referencing back to previous ones because it's also important to me, not only to make sure I'm getting the voice that was always there, but I always like to, as much as possible, have some sort of hook that also ties back into past books, so that there's always a connection with mine going forward. That there might be a character that we haven't seen for 20 books that I know that character's story hasn't completely played out. So let me bring him back and let's finish off where he was going, and see what happens then. I like doing those kind of things, but also just to keep this character straight, to remember certain things that are intrinsic to the series, even as much as looking back to how Stuart has described, Stone owns like about 5, 6, 7 houses, even how he describes each of those. And sometimes the last description for one of those is 25 books back or 15 books back. And I have to kind of hunt around and find that kind of stuff. So it's interesting. It's fun. It's a challenge.
Yeah, that's fun. By the way, here's what the challenge looks like when it's complete. Stuart Woods, Blow It Away. And this is written by Brett Battles. We're talking
mostly set in Palm Springs, California.
Yeah, I love Palm Springs. Do you love Palm Springs?
I do.
Did you go there for the writing of the book?
I went there for several days to do a little scouting around. My brother used to live there. He just moved, but I went and stayed with him for a few days and got the tour, did a little bit of touring on my own, and just to get a sense of what I needed to do. It's kind of, the book is has a little bit of, it's kind of centered around the wind turbine industry that's grown up in that area. So I got a tour of some of that. which was great. And it's kind of it's got old Hollywood mixed into it because, you know, Hollywood is always been part of Palm Springs too. So there's a retired movie star who lives there who gives this big Hollywood type party during it. And so it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. I am not good at it, but I try to stick to short stories because I'm never apparently going to write a novel. Yeah, maybe one day I will, and I'm certainly like not excluding the possibility. But I suck at writing short stories because I'm a novel length guy trying to jam a story into less than, you know, I don't know, 5,000 words or whatever it is, and I don't ever seem to hit the mark. And they always turn into porn novels too, and I'm like, why is the porn in there again? But I wonder, like, when you're working on these stories, you're trying to make it rich and enjoyable because the audience has an expectation, you're trying to meet it. But how do you set your limits? So you're like, this is how this story is going to go. And again, like, instead of getting on a train and going to Paris and all that stuff, how do you keep that story contained so that you make it dense but not overly complex or whatever?
Magic.
Magic.
I don't honestly. I don't know if I've ever thought about it to put it into words. It just kind of. It's just kind of what you have to do, you know, as you're thinking things through. And for me, a lot of times, it's all coming to me as I'm writing a story. Even though I do outlines for the Stuart Woods books, I still, you know, I'm putting in things that will help the story, but that might not come to me until I'm like right into the middle of it, or I'm taking stuff out because I immediately know that that's going to make things way too complicated. Yes. And actually a lot of that decomplication or recomplication, depending on what's needed, occurs in the rewrite. When I go back, I've got a full thing that's a complete mess, because always a first draft is always a complete mess. And I go back and take out what's not needed, put in what is missing, and clean up what needs to be cleaned up. So I get, you know, there's no one answer for how to do all of that.
Right.
It's just kind of is part of the process.
Yeah. 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 Well, I notice a lot of times when I read, I'll see you all like writing yourself, like, you're like, oh man, this is really getting impossible for our hero. But there's always these elegant parachutes you drop in some way or another where, oh, and by the way, this is solved by this other thing. And you're like, oh, of course it is. Of course, right? You know, like, and so there is just a real, like, I mean, it's an art when you guys, I mean, you have these devices and you know what to do, but you can write yourself into that situation because you know you have that tool to go, and then here's how we improve the odds, just gently.
Yeah,
right?
But you know, a lot of times when you're writing, you don't know that while you're writing. And like,
Yes,
you know, you might come with a solution at the end that then in the rewrite, you need to go back and much earlier in the story to seed that in so that it becomes something that isn't just like Deus Ex Machina. You know, it's not just, you know, you don't want to bolt out of the sky on this.
right.
Because that makes no sense. It's got to be something that works with the story, that is part of the believable within this world that you've created, and a lot of that comes into seeding stuff that happens in the rewrite. Again, the writing is one thing, but to me, the most important part of writing is the rewrite. You know, that's when the real technical and magic happens. It's magical when you're putting all the stuff down the first time. It's great, but you're just like, for me anyway, there are some people who are much better than this at keeping things straight right from the beginning, and I hate them. But for me, it's more, you know, I'm just throwing it out there. I know kind of what I need. I know that some of this is going to need a lot of massaging, but I need to get the whole story out so that I can then go back and just in the rewrite, just make everything sing, you know?
Yeah. No, I love that. And you guys develop a sense of things, you know, whatever it is. I love that. How well do you know these characters? Like, and how much? You know what? Let me. I'm gonna go back in time. Forget that for a second. We'll come back to the characters in a second. When you're listening to a book, what speed do you listen to it at?
I listened somewhere between, I mean, mostly these days I'm at 1.7.
Oh, okay.
I used to be 1.5.
Yeah.
I started slowly working up, like 1.2, then 1.3, then 1.5, and now I'm at 1.7. If I need to, if I have to listen to something that I just need to, I'm not doing it for pleasure, but I need to get some information out of it. I'll go up, 2.5 sometimes if I need to, just to get to the spot that, because I'm not doing it for pleasure, but for pleasure, I'm not going to go above 1.7. And if I listen to just at normal speed, it just sounds so slow to me now. But 1.5 is a really nice. It sounds conversational to me. So
yeah, it does. And I'm not sure if my sense of this is true or not, but it does seem like books have gotten even slower as we've gone on. I can't bear to listen to something at once. I bought and will buy all of the new Harry Potter books that are, it's like a movie production and the audio and it's incredible. I had to put it up to 1.2, 1.3 because I'm like, listen, you guys, it's just taking too long. And it's all wonderful.
Obviously there are people who do like it at 1, and that's wonderful, and that, which is good. The fact that you can do it at all these different speeds, you need a starting speed that allows people to have the flexibility to do it at the speed they like. And so I think they've probably chosen the best speed to have these read at. So
right, but I've never met anybody. It's like I'm a 0.7. Like I've never met that person.
I have never met that.
Right, and it seems ridiculous. So 1 probably is too slow. There's plenty of folks that are at 1, but like I at certain times I slow down, but 1.5, that's probably too slow. But I'm 2.7, sometimes 3. Depending on not women's voices, because then I can't make out because it's too chipmunky. But yeah, it's I don't know. It is not that I'm in a rush, but I am trying to get through the thing because I'm trying to prep for a show or whatever it's going to be.
Right. If it's work, I'll go. I've done a couple at 3, and that's just like almost too fast for me. It is too fast. I'm sitting there going, wait, what was that? Now, by then it's already, we're miles.
But I will go back and listen multiple times to certain aspects of it and slow down there too, so I read books more times now than I ever have before. I'll go back and I'll review, because you can go through a 6-hour book in 3 hours, and you're like, oh, I'll just go for a long walk or whatever. These characters that how well do you know them? What do they tell you?
Well, I know them very well now. Obviously I'm getting very deep into the whole Stuart Woods world and learning those characters. The characters in my own books, like especially my Quinn books and any of the spin-offs from them, because that's like 25 plus books with all of everything. I know those characters like the back of my hand. I'm getting there with the Stuart Woods world. I say that cautiously because I want to be cautious, because I don't want to just make presumptions when I'm doing those characters, because they are not my characters. They're Stuart's characters. So I need to treat them with the respect, but I am getting to know them more and more and more the more I work with them. And so that's really good. And, what do they tell me? It's like as simple as I would never say that if, you start to write a piece of dialogue in one way and you go, no, that Stone wouldn't say it this way. He would say this, or Teddy Fay would never say that. He'd say this. And that's one thing, or I wouldn't do this, or I would do this, or, it's kind of all mixed in, them telling you these things, just everything working together. It's, as you get to know the characters, you get to know how they deal with situations, how they would do different things. and you have to be true to that when you write it, because if you're not, it's very obvious.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Is that fun when you think like, I don't know what's going to happen next, but I know these guys so well, and this is going to be a good day of writing?
Oh yeah. Well, when you have something that's working really good, and you like,
Hmm.
if you're writing, for instance, in the Stone series, or even Teddy Fay, that, dialogue is very important in these books, and
Hmm.
there's lots of
Hmm.
chapters that are almost just dialogue. And when you have a good rhythm going with that, and there's a lot of, and it's the humor and the quips back and forth, and the information still coming out in a way that's not like hammering it in your face. It's just kind of a natural flow, and yeah, it feels great. A good day of writing. There's no better feeling than
Yes.
having a good day of writing, that you've not only written something that you enjoy, but you've also reached for me, it's like a word goal every day. And, if I've done that, I feel like I have achieved what I need to do today. Most
Yeah.
days it's like, I should have done more,
I should have
but
done.
on those good days, I celebrate those days. So,
Yeah. No, I love that. Can I ask what your word goal is each day? Like, what are you supposed to do?
it depends. I mean, when it's like right now, it's 1,500 to 2,000 a day,
Yeah.
which is, for me, I used, back in the day, I've said this on other shows, but back in the day, I used to do like 4 to 5,000 words a day. That was normal for me. And that just over the years, over the last 15 plus years, that's kind of down to 3, down to
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
But I'm, these, on my sabbaticals, if you will, I try to get more, my goal is to get closer to 3 to 4, maybe,
Right.
or more a day. That one travel day I did to New Orleans, I got over 6,000 words done that day, and I was between
Dang.
planes and airports and everything. That was a big day for me, probably my biggest in 5 or 6 years.
And what's the quality of those words? Like, how much of those words
Pretty
are
good.
going to
Most
remain?
of them,
Yeah.
most that book is done, and uh, will be out next summer. That was for Deepwater, which is the next Stone book,
Okay.
and June 2nd, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of that's, almost everything stayed in. I mean, I some massaging on rewriting, because I was getting close to the end. So it's all, when I get close to the end, I know what's going to happen, and it's just kind of writing things out to get there. And
Yeah.
that's usually when I can write the most words, is when I'm really close to the end, because I know what needs to happen, and all these little scenes that lead up to that. And they just kind of spit themselves out. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Because when you're in the middle of the book, you're still trying to figure things out. Even if you have this roadmap in front of you, it's like, well, how do I get into the scene? How do I get da da da? I've got to make sure I set this up for that. Don't forget to do this. Don't forget to that. But then when you get to the end, like, all that setup is behind you, has set you up for this moment. And now you've got all this stuff behind you, and you're just like, blah, the rest of it right out. It just kind of shoots out of you.
Yeah.
It's me anyway.
And if you're writing a 350-page book, you're 80,000, 100,000 words. And so when you have a 6,000 word day, and if 5,000 of those words stick, you're writing a book every 20 days.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, as if you're getting 6,000 words every day, which is, oh, that was that.
It's so easy.
Oh yeah,
A book a month. Yeah.
you know what? There are people who do that, and
There are, though. That's the amazing thing about it, right? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
everybody works at a different speed.
Yeah.
And you should never compare yourself to what
Right.
somebody else does,
And some people write
or their
prolifically.
process or anything.
Yeah. Some people write prolifically, and they do even more than that. And then boom, they run out of words. And you're just like, what happened? Like, I'm never going to finish that series.
Yeah.
I've run out of words. That's a weird thing too, where do you ever worry about that? Like, do you ever think, oh man, I might reach the limit? Is that even a concern for you? No.
No.
Okay, good.
I don't worry about that. I figure I'm going to be writing until I die. So
Will you die at your keyboard? Is that what's going to happen?
Yeah, probably. Hopefully, having written the end and meaning it in
And,
2 ways, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
On whatever particular story I'm writing. I hate to die in the middle of writing one. That would suck.
But you don't have any plans for retirement. I mean, you're not the oldest guy in the world.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. When you do sit down and spend however much time you get in a week to work on your stories, how impactful is it effective writing, or is this just more maintenance kind of stuff?
On my stories, lately I have the one that is closer to done, as close to done. I've been doing some rewrites on that one, and so it's very effective. I do need to get some new material on some of the other ones done. That would be nice. But I'm going to finish the rewrite on this one first, and then I'm going to start doing some new material on other ones. So yeah.
So the next book is going to be another Stuart Woods book, and then maybe you get the other book out or not. And I'm not trying to put you on the spot or anything.
Well, there's 2 things about that. It's going to take me a little bit to finish the rewrite on that.
Okay.
And it's in my, so I have my Jonathan Quinn series, which is my big thriller spy series.
Right.
And it is 15 books right now, 16 books. I can't remember, 15, I think. And then the book I'm writing, or the book that's almost finished, is kind of, I'm going to start this alternate Quinn series. All right. And but it's going to be paired with the next book in the series, in the regular series. So book 16, let's say it's 16. And the first chapter and a half, I think, are exactly the same. And then something happens differently that spurns them in different directions. And the one continues in the regular spy series way, and the other one goes in more of a sci-fi apocalyptic direction, because I enjoy writing those kind of books. But there's this moment I go, wow, what if I went this way on this one and this way on this one? And so I have to have them both written before I can put them out. So
gotcha. Okay.
This one is almost done. This one is only done about 25%. So I still got a lot of writing to do on this one. Yeah.
So 16 and 17. So P is for professional, and then Q is for question. Onto the That's great. I love it.
Eventually.
Yeah. And I'm sure, like, the folks that read your stuff all the time will be happy to pick it up and buy it. Do you worry at all about the market? Like, because you have these other things that are wonderful to do, do you worry about maintenance for your own fans? Do they come over? Yes. I have no idea how that works.
I mean, I do worry about it, but I can't worry. I mean, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
And when I come back to it, if people don't want it at that point, they don't want it at that point. I can't do anything about that. But I hope, and I'm not trying to give up on any of that stuff.
Sure.
Or anything. And I'm also writing some other books that are completely different, not in my series or anything. So when I finish those, that's something else to put out there too. But we'll see.
Yeah.
It's all done.
Do you think, as someone who is thinking about writing murders, thrillers, military thrillers, is there still room in the market for new ideas? Or because it seems like you all are so prolific, but again, we haven't found the edge of the market. It seems like it's still growing.
There are always going to be ideas. And even if, here's the thing, you can give the same idea to 10 different authors, and they can write 10 different books that are all good, that may feel of a family, but can all be enjoyed separately. Right. It's all about the take. It's all about the writer's voice. It's all about how they enter the particular idea and where the angle they take on it. And so ideas, sure, there'll be some new ones out there. Sure, there's going to be retreads of old ones. There's going to be Frankenstein mixes of 2 ideas or 3 ideas. that's what writing is about. You find something that you want to tell, even if somebody else has told a similar story, but you tell it in your way with your characters and stuff. I mean, look at time travel, for instance. Time travel in itself is basically someone goes somewhere and and they mess something up or something happens. So in essence, all time travel novels are the same, but they're not, because they're different. Yeah. All zombie novels are the same, but they're not.
They're different. Yeah. It's funny. I have and again, hashtag not a writer, but I write things, and it's more of a hobby for me than anything else. But I have a time travel story. I love baseball, and so I talk to people about baseball quite a lot, and they always want to take, if you took Ohtani and put him back on Babe Ruth's time, you do 1,000,000 home runs kind of thing. And I'm like, yeah, except for 1 in 4 kids born in 1895, when Babe Ruth was born, don't make it to 18 years old. So you already have this, and so I want to take these guys, and they, for whatever reason, this Faustian bargain, they go back in time to go be superstars, and then like one of the guys just kind of appears in Benson, Arizona, and there's an Indian raid and he's dead. Storyline over, 2 words. But it's a fun premise to play with time and what happens, and
I have a 3-book time travel series that.
Oh, you do? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, we put a link up for that.
That's it. The first book, it's the Rewinder series, and the first book is Rewinder.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you like apocalyptic stuff too.
I love apocalyptic stuff.
That's fun. I'm going to fill some time here for me while I pull up the link for your Rewinder series.
If you like apocalyptic stuff, you should check out my Project Eden thrillers. That's my 7-book apocalyptic series. My first one so far. I think I have a couple others in progress. Well, including the Quinn spinoff. My alternate.
I tell you what, you got so many books. I can't even find all these things. It's crazy. Man, you have been busy. Holy cow. Look at all these books. All right, let me try this in a different way. Rewind over, do that like this. Yeah. What should I have asked you that I have not asked you?
That is a question that I do not know how to answer.
There you go. That's because I've done such a good job.
Yeah, exactly right. There you go. I'll take that. We'll take that.
Rewinder. And look at that. That perfectly filled out that time for that. And I'm going to put the link up for Rewinder, everybody. Perfect. It's right here as soon as the computer catches up. This has been a good time and a good chat. I don't want to keep you too long, but is there anything else you want to get into at all before I put there's Rewinder?
I think we've covered everything. I mean, the big thing right now is Blown Away coming out or is out, depending on when this podcast goes up on December.
Oh, we're live right now.
Oh, we're live right now. Comes out December 2nd. And that's it. That's the big one right now.
And then get the shadow off.
Next summer is Deep Water, which I'm really looking forward to. I really like that one too. So I like Blown Away too. So
we have in my greater, modern families are, sometimes 70 people wide. So in our greater family, we have access to a place up in Arrowhead, and I want to write a short story and kill someone up there because that sounds like fun. But I just think about these things, and I'm slowly filling that house up with these because I'm not going to sell these things, right? That's not what the point of these things is, to have someone else read them. And so I haven't quite finished this one, but when I do, it will go up to Arrowhead and live a new life as either a decorative thing that's gorgeous or something that somebody pulls down and sits in front of a fire and reads. I recommend all of you do the same thing. Here's the link below for Blown Away. I say buy 2, buddy read. Books make great gifts, and 'tis the season for giving books. Anything else before we wrap this thing up? And I asked you all kinds of crazy questions, right? I appreciate you for putting up with that, but I'm fascinated about what you all do and how you all manage to do it. It's just,
thank you.
It's a dream job.
It is a dream job, and I'm very lucky to have made it mine. So I am, and I'm well aware of that. There's a lot of people who are probably more deserving and better than I who haven't been able to do that, and so I appreciate where I am.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging on. I'll say goodbye to you a second. Everybody else, I'll see you all tomorrow.